Hello, I'm Jonathan Middendorf from Essences, Bulgaria. We are running a little farming business and a distilling business, producing really unique essential oils and unique herbs. We are placed in the north of Bulgaria, which is the most fertile region of Bulgaria and really one of the most fertile regions in entire Europe. It's placed all in the Danube Valley. In the background you can see the Danube River. And yes, in the next half an hour I will tell you a little bit about our unique story, how we reached here, what brought us here. So in 2010 I met my wife Pavlina when I was already working for a Bulgarian-German company within the forestry sector. At this work I was super lucky because I had the opportunity to travel all over Bulgaria, to see lots of places, to explore nature, and here I really fall in love with Bulgarian nature. And the most favorite part of Bulgarian nature is really spring, when after a miserable winter, lots of rain, spring awakes and everything is blossoming, everything gets green at the same time, and this is so special. You really feel the magic of nature surrounding you. And yes, at this job I also was working lots on the fields and communicating a lot with Bulgarian people in local villages, and it was really a special time. I had to learn, of course, the language here. I learned it a little bit in a simple way. Pavlina today makes a bit fun of me because my Bulgarian is more village slang than it's really academic level, but I don't think I need academic level of Bulgarian. But what I wanted to tell you is that the hospitality, the connection people have with nature, and by their connectivity to nature, you feel it in their hearts, you feel it when you talk to them, that it is really something special. And so this combination of nature, people have the love for nature, and really this made me want to develop with Pavlina together a sustainable business, a more ecological oriented business here. And we thought, what will we do? We want to work really something sustainable, something with nature. Yes, our idea was in the beginning to grow a walnut orchard, but we wanted to do this really from the beginning of the growing process of the plant. So we wanted from the seed to the ready tree and then to plant it. So the grafting process was one thing what we really wanted to do. We had certain knowledge, but we wanted to really do expertise in this, but we needed to learn it. But we did not have equipment, neither rooms. So we used our little bathroom to heat the room up to 30 degrees with a little heater. We grafted the trees ourselves by hand, filled it in little plastic containers, and in the night when we had dinner, everything dropped on the floor. We heard a huge smash, and we realized the temperature in the bathroom with these plastic containers was too hot, so the plastic got soft and everything dropped on the ground. Yes, but this was just one point which was really the start, and we could have got disappointed from it, but we did not. It just lifted our spirits that we really want to do something in this direction, and we kept on. Even a few trees from this little accident survived. So it was really positive on one hand, even though it was within the start was with a little bit difficulties. Yes, the year after we planted a walnut orchard. It happened. We planted it on a small scale, 0.45 hectares, and the space between the walnut rows is quite large. So we had to think, okay, what we do with the space between the rows. The space is quite big, so we thought of establishing a really good agricultural system. It's called agroforestry. You can plant basically whatever you want between the rows, but we had from the beginning the idea to plant herbs, because herbs was really an interesting part for us. We loved herbs, we loved the smell, we always thought in this direction. But then the question was what kind of herbs we plant, and we decided we plant Melissa officinalis, because at this time Melissa officinalis had a good price on the market. Of course, this is important. We can expect a good yield, and of course, which is most crucial, the climate and the soil conditions are perfect for Melissa officinalis, for lemon balm. Yes, and the agroforestry system itself, you know, it is so much more sustainable than a normal agricultural system, because you use the space much more in an economic way, which is good for us as farmers, but also on a global scale, as the land is more used economically and less space is used. So more area can be used for conservation areas, for natural habitat, which is important for nature on a global scale. The agricultural system itself, you know, the agroforestry system itself is also much more sustainable on a local scale, as it prevents from erosion. The trees prevent the soil from erosion. There is a better microclimate in this specific area, and there is higher agrobiodiversity, which also is much better for the habitat of, for example, birds and insects in this specific area. So our decision was made. We wanted to plant Melissa officinalis in between the rows. The system here you see is exactly the same, even though right now it's Lemon Savory you see in front of you. But yes, at this time we did everything by hand, and we produced the plants ourselves from seeds. Afterwards, we with a few people together, we got in the mud. It was raining during this time, and we planted the whole field ourselves. And when we planted the whole field, you know, it was a small field, but everything by hand. And after 1 week, you're ready, and you'll see this has been done by yourself. You know, you really get enthusiastic, you get happy. The spirit of the entire work you did, really, you know, your back hurts, your knees hurt, it doesn't matter, you know, what you did it yourself, and this raises your energy level, this raises your enthusiasm, and we were super happy. So this was our first step. We planted it, now the harvest comes. When we want to harvest it, again we had to harvest it by hand, and to drive the production to an external distillery. At this time, of course, we did not have our own distillery. So we harvested, and the yield was very, very promising. The price, we also could sell the oil basically straight away. So based on this small scale hobby farming, we made a major decision. We wanted to do this as a business. So we quit our jobs and we hired land. We made a business plan, and based on this business plan, which was obviously based on the small scale, we planted 15 hectares of land. This 15 hectares of land, it's not big scale, it's not small scale, it's something medium, but we needed this size of land we needed to make investments. We needed to drill a well for irrigation. We need to buy an old tractor to be able to do certain things also in a mechanical way, not everything only by hand. We got a team together. Veliko Pavlina's brother joined the team with his technical expertise, which was at this time extremely crucial. We could not manage without such expertise, and we formed a really good team. We hired local workers, and the excitement, the energy from the team was amazing. Beside Melissa officinalis, the lemon balm, we also saw a little bit clary sage and a very unique plant, Moldavian Dragonhead, which is widely unknown, and especially as essential oil, extremely unknown. But for me, it was from the beginning something special to do, something unique. So spring came after we planted in autumn, and in early spring all the fields. And as I said before, the explosion of nature is wonderful in terms of nature. But for us as a farmer, it was really a trouble, because if the weeds overgrow your herbs, you're not so happy. So we had to make a major decision, take people from local villages and get them in the morning to the fields, hoe all the fields by hand, and we managed. After all this comes harvest time. Again, we need to work in the day in the biggest heat, then in the night load it to trucks, drive it to distilleries, because at this time we did not have our own distillery, which was all very strenuous, but at the same time, our energy, we had the wish to do it, and we worked for it, and we really had the hopes everything will work. So you don't need so much sleep if you have the energy that everything will work. But unfortunately, the yields were kind of disappointing for the Melissa. At the same time, the market collapsed completely, because so many conventional farmers have been growing Melissa exactly at the same year, which we only understood at the same time when we started distilling our own, that the market collapsed completely, and we could also not really compete with the prices, because we really believe in the organic way of doing things. As I said, we do it by hand, we hire locals, we don't drive over with spraying. So it was difficult for us to compete with the prices, but in the end, okay, we sent all the samples all over the world with the essential oil that we have produced. But Melissa was very little harvested, Dragonhead was unknown, and of course clary sage, in the first year you don't have any harvest. Yes, and at Christmas we got the really good news from an US laboratory, which were super interested in our Dragonhead also. This lifted our spirits, our energy, and we didn't know at this time what is so special about this Moldavian Dragonhead Essential Oil. But as we did not have a chemistry background at all, but pretty quickly we understood that the geranyl acetate content as major component of the oil is very rare in the essential oil, in the essential oils as a whole. So there are a few reports in literature where for academic purposes such amounts have been reached with certain plants, but extremely rare. So this geranyl acetate made really this Moldavian Dragonhead so special in terms of chemistry of the oil. Yes, in terms of health benefits, there has been many positive effects reported already. So it is a natural painkiller, it helps really great against headache, it is very calming, and it for sure helps against herpes. It is an antiseptic oil, and yes, for me this oil is really my most favorite from all, not only because of its uniqueness, not because only of its fragrance, but in summer when you see the whole field purple flowering, it really gives you an amazing feeling. But not only from the beauty of the field, but also the bees are everywhere, and at this time of the year the bees don't have any flowers basically left. So this makes it really, from an ecological point of view, also very important for the bees locally that they have where to go in high summer. And by the way, the taste from the honey is amazing as well. So Okay, this interest from this US laboratory really led us to the next step. We got really excited about such unique essential oils, and it pushed us further to more unique cultures to get interested in more different fields of essential oils. So the next plant I would like to present you is Lemon Savory, and we found this new plant after we got so excited about the Moldavian Dragonhead, and the feedback we got from aromatherapists, from aromatherapy experts, and people were so excited, so we found the next plant, and this is Lemon Savory. And the Lemon Savory has a unique lemonish, flowerish smell. In terms of the oil, Pavlina even smells a little bit rose out of it. I don't have this fantasy, but maybe you will have when you smell it. If you know mountain savory, you know this almost aggressive smell of it, spicy, almost aggressive, but it's still nice. But the lemon savory, if you compare it, you know, it's not comparable, even though it comes from the same plant. And this is so special for us that from one and the same plant we get so different types of oil and so different chemical compositions. So here, for example, the GC profile, you see what it consists. And you can compare it, for example, with another mountain savory. But the health benefits we really come from the chemical composition. As very little experience has been gathered what it is good for, but from the chemical composition we can say that it's really for sure a natural antibiotic, that it's great against fungal infections, and that it's very positive for digestive organs, and it reduces stomach cramps and so on. The next plant I'm especially proud of to present is the smoke tree, which comes really from traditional Bulgarian medicine, and I'm so proud of to present it as it's also obtained in a very sustainable way. We can gather it from natural forest ecosystems locally without destroying them or even having a bad effect on the ecosystem. Since long time I always wanted to distill this plant. Since we started thinking about essential oils, as we bathed our daughter Valerie when she was a baby in the smoke tree tea, and the infection on her skin really went astonishing well off. So it fascinated me, this plant, since a long time, and I wanted now to see, okay, during what time of the year, what amount of essential oil can be found in the leaves, in the flowers, and yes, it fascinated me. So now we put it in our portfolio, in our range of products, and it is really an amazing essential oil. The GC profile I showed to you now, it's very interesting in terms of its compounds and its health effects. Well, it's mainly known for acne, eczema and burns, but there are many more health benefits, but most of them are connected with skin and also oral hygiene. In terms of its sustainability aspect, this plant is so amazing because we really can harvest it in late summer until autumn, and during that time it doesn't have a bad influence on the ecosystem. We even changed the harvesting system to a little bit later period when the flowering is totally finished and all the seeds are ready. So the natural regrowth of the shrub is not interfered at all. So this is very important. So natural regrowth is happening in a natural way, even though we cut certain branches off. But we do this a little bit later, so the seeds are completely ready and natural regrowth is not interfered in any negative manner. So this is very important from one hand. We also focus on the fauna of the forest, and one very important aspect from the fauna of the forest in Bulgaria is that breeding for birds happens in spring. So when we start after the birds fledge their nests, then we don't interfere in critical periods for bird development into the forest ecosystem. So if we go in the forest only in late summer until autumn, there is no negative influence for the bird life, which is very important for Bulgarian ecosystem. So this is extremely important that we use this plant, but we don't interfere in a negative manner. This is really a perfect example for a non-timber forest product, which contributes also because people can go into the forest ecosystem, harvest it, and it also in that way contributes towards a more sustainable livelihood and a good livelihood of local communities. So for us as a farmers, it's also a very positive plant because all our other herbs are basically harvested already. And after our herbs are harvested, we have the possibility and the time to go in the forest and use this plant and harvest it and create a really wonderful essential oil out of it. So it is really an amazing example for a sustainable, harvested and really ecologically friendly product which comes from the wild.